Warning! This podcast contains amazing content
and strong language.
We were thinking about drinking, but we decided just to have a tea instead. You know?
Yeah, you don't know what's in our cups. Just kidding. It's coffee. It's coffee.
Are you guys drinking?
No, it's coffee. It's coffee. It's coffee. Well, mine is done.
Yeah, Irish coffee.
Hi, you're listening to Back Catalogues. I'm Natasha Jenkins.
And I'm Juliana Hopkins.
Today we are interviewing Pete and Vinnie Play on our channel. So introduce yourself, guys. Who are we talking to?
Hey guys, I'm Vinnie.
And I'm Pete.
From
Pete Vinnie Play.
Did you rehearse that? Because that was quite good.
We've done it before though.
Very
Amazing.
nice.
That was
We got a little
insane.
sign off at the end of the videos. We go like, Pete says whatever, then we look at each other, goes like,
Yeah.
see ya.
It's whenever there's the look, you know,
Yeah.
you say something in sync.
I love that.
The little look out of it.
Like a little natural moment that happened there, yeah.
Very cute.
Amazing.
But yeah, thank you for having us on.
Don't be silly.
Thanks,
Yeah, well,
How
thanks
you
for
guys doing? You alright?
Yeah, we're good. We're better for talking to you two.
So, could you introduce yourselves and tell us a bit about where you're from and how you ended up in London?
Want to go first?
Yeah, alright, cool. So I'm Brazilian originally, and I moved to London a long time ago when I decided I wanted to play music, you know, and London was the place to be.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, so I am half English, half American. My dad's from England, my mom's from the States, and I moved to London almost 4 years ago now to go to music school. And yeah, basically the same as Vinny, just pursue a career in music.
Amazing. We all met at university for people listening. So the boys were two heavy rockers and we were two crazy gals.
Those were good times.
I know, I miss it so much.
Yeah, me too.
And all too
Yeah.
quickly, yeah.
Yeah, way too quickly, especially
Bronze
now.
age at lunch.
Yeah.
So how did you two meet and like well obviously we've said you've met at uni, but how did you start your YouTube channel? Like where did that start?
Do you want to tell the story?
Yeah, so, the first time we ever met, it was like one of those moments where you see someone from across the room. It was like in LPW, the performance class that we had at ICMP.
Oh god.
It was like when we were in the blues unit, so the very first one. And I remember Vinny was on stage with his orange Les Paul.
Yeah.
I was like, tattoos, and we kind of exchanged a look, and then we became friends because of rock music and all that stuff.
I think we're the only two metalheads, like 2 out of 3 or 4. So
Yeah.
I think that's why we got along so quickly, because we decided to like shred guitar. It's like, me too, you know, that kind of thing.
And then the YouTube channel came about when at the end of second year and first year, but at the end of second year, we did the live gig for the exam. And we finally got to play some kind of shred style, like what we love to do. And we got to showcase that. And then afterwards, Vinny came to me, he's like, man, we should do a YouTube channel because that went really well.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where the idea was kind of born, wasn't it?
So we played the gig, exactly. We played the gig and everyone loved it, you know.
Yeah, we did.
And the next day I woke up and had a full vision in my head, you know. We need to do like a YouTube channel in which we're playing side by side, having fun, just like we had on stage during that performance, you know. So I called Pete and he was up for it. And then we started. We did the first video, which was the same track, same track that we played for the performance, and then everyone liked it, and then we kept doing it, basically, Yeah,
you guys are a good team, a good duo. You can tell that you like work well.
Was that technical difficulties, the first video?
Yeah. I think after you've spent like 4 months of your life dedicating yourself to learning that, there's no way you're not going to bond over it, you know. It's almost like being in jail together, you know. You're gonna be like
in jail with a metronome.
I don't know, or like going on a mushroom trip together or something, you know, like, you're gonna end up bonding for life, because it was such a challenge, you know, but it was like a challenge that we managed to obviously overcome, you know.
Anyway, it gave birth to the idea.
Exactly,
Yeah, it was a labour of love for you both, definitely.
Basically,
So what got each of you into music and what were you listening to growing up?
What made me want to play guitar was seeing videos of Metallica live. So kind of a very typical story for rock guitars, you know. But that's what made, that was the spark that made me want to pick up the guitar. And then just kind of like went from there, listened to bands like Metallica, kind of like the more hard rock bands like 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin, you know, and then from there I got into heavier stuff like Lamb of God, Slipknot, and then it went from there. So yeah, that's kind of what I was just like rock and metal growing up, you know. Probably same for you, right?
Well, for me, like I had an uncle. He was like a crazy guy, you know. He was adopted as well. He's adopted, and he's been listening to metal like Metallica, Guns N' Roses ever since I was really young. So I think I kind of grew up around that thing, but I wasn't like a massive fan or anything from the beginning. And when I became a teenager, then I started, listening to like Metallica, Guns N' Roses and everything. And I had a few friends that were playing music, so I started playing as well. But it was like, you know, when you kind of just you form your personality around those bands, you know, Metallica, Pantera, Guns N' Roses. What else? Green Day, loads of Green Day. loads, yeah. And then you become like a goth kid, basically. And then,
emo,
you know, your parents think you're gonna, you know, I don't know.
You're like, it's not just a phase, Mom.
Yeah, Mom, you don't understand.
That's Juju, like big emo.
Yeah, emo vibes only.
It's just a phase, and then next thing you know, you move to London to play music.
Yeah.
All
Were
happens fast.
you guys into like Bullet for My Valentine, My Chemical Romance, stuff like that?
Pretty much. Yeah.
I used to straighten this hair. Like,
Never! We've discussed this.
Well, every day.
Yeah.
What?
So I was the proper emo. Like,
I've done it a few times, but not every day.
It was a pain in the ass, man.
That's crazy, bro.
No, you had to.
Like, it's always been a guilty pleasure for me. Like, I liked it, but I knew they weren't like badass, like AC/DC or Guns N' Roses.
But I thought that as a teenager, but because I was a teenager,
you thought they were badass.
Yeah, but then you get to a certain point, and it's just like, okay.
They were pretty badass. Come on.
They're cozy badass.
Yeah.
I completely know it.
More like they're doing heroin or the fucking, you know, like,
No, I'm lucky I bypassed that awkward stage of emo.
Exactly.
So what bands are you into the most at the moment? Obviously that was a wee while ago when you're starting out music, but what about now?
That's a good question, actually. I think I've been listening to a lot of guitarists recently, you know, like instrumental guys like Richie Kotzen, good old, you know, Paul Gilbert, you know, like what else? Some more modern metal as well.
Okay.
You know, like stuff like Periphery maybe, you know?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that differs from the stuff that you listened to before? Do you think that there's like a big difference in the bands that you're into now?
Yeah, I think definitely the stuff is. I think I listen to more complicated stuff.
Yeah.
Not only that, but like I can actually digest more like higher information music. You know, I think it's normal, right? Once you kind of study music and you can appreciate.
You can depict it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but still, like if you put some Green Day on, I'll still be super happy.
Still vibe with it. I like that.
Makes you feel like just when you were a teenager. But like you can put on some Guthrie Govan, you know, and go like, oh, look what he's doing there. That's amazing, you know.
Yeah, recently I've been listening to I've been revisiting the kind of classics. I've been listening to loads of Guns N' Roses, loads of Led Zeppelin. I don't know why, just kind of like have had a resurgence of listening to the old time bands, you know.
It's nostalgia
so
for the situation that we're in right now. Everybody's looking back to the past because there's nothing going on right now. So it makes sense.
What are you guys listening to at the minute?
Our house is a big mishmash. Like everybody's we just listen to everything.
Yeah, like Fontaines DC, Grimes.
We listen to a lot of Grimes. Yeah. Who else have you listened to?
Listen to a lot of.
It's a hard question.
Kurt Vile and Courtney
Barnett. Yeah, we listen to that a lot.
Jet Rebel.
Simon Garfunkel.
Yeah, of course.
I actually had a big Justice phase a few months ago.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, like synth heavy metal, basically, you know.
Yeah.
Which really heavy, really cool, like heavy, like dark stuff, you know.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah, you two are into that head thrashing stuff. I like it.
I think like if you can headbang to it, it's half the battle, you know.
If you can do that, if it makes your head bang.
Because honestly, it's either the songwriting is amazing and it's like just a piece of songwriting like is great, or it's heavy as shit, you know. It has to be one of them, you know. Because what else? But think about it. What else? What else? Is there another reason why you would like an artist or a band?
Well, if it's heavy, it makes me want to get up and
that's definitely a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Or then if it's not heavy, like if it's a beautiful piece of writing, like amazing, like thing that
Lyrics and
reaches you,
stuff.
it touches you, like that's also good.
Yeah.
But like,
I think it has to move you at the end of the day,
Yeah.
figuratively speaking.
yeah.
And literally as well.
It gets
but,
you
like,
hyped in a different way, for sure.
Yeah, if
Obviously,
nothing touches you and like you connect with what the song is putting out,
yeah.
then that's what matters.
I like those two. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good
Yeah,
analogy.
we have a lot of dancing in the kitchen vibes.
Oh yeah, we do that
going
a
on.
lot. We dance.
That's moving you, it's equivalent to headbanging,
You
Exactly.
connect it with
Yeah.
I guess it's the argument of like, can you really headbang to everything and a different way of headbanging? I'm gonna say no.
So sometimes you find that like stuff can be heavy, even if it's not like rock in the genre of rock. Say if you listen to some like Pink Floyd, sometimes it's like super intense,
heavy sound,
super heavy.
Yeah.
It makes you like, oh my god, And I think that comes down to the songwriting. It comes down to the
Absolutely.
idea.
I
the way
think
you
that
execute,
I feel like with lyrics, with like rock music, like Idols for example, their lyrics are phenomenal, and they have really deep rooted meanings. Like they say a lot of political things and really deep rooted stuff. And I think that even though I'm not particularly into metal and heavy music, their music is quite heavy, but it gets you going in a different way. It gets you listening.
Do you guys remember when like Hosier came out with "Take Me to Church"?
Yeah.
There's not one guitar in that song, and it's like it's just the heaviest song ever.
Yeah, there's songs that just are like they're like heavy on your chest. Do you know what I mean? Like if it's a heavy feeling, not necessarily a sound. So yeah, I totally get you for sure.
Yeah.
So next,
Do you play any instruments beside guitar?
little bit of drums, a little bit of piano.
Acoustic guitar.
yeah,
So I can play with the drums a little bit as well, and obviously we can play bass, mostly for recordings,
Big
but
guitar,
not the longer one.
Longer guitar.
But not as a proper bass. It's like just like the embarrassing thing of a guitarist playing the bass with a pick,
oh
That
god,
kind of thing.
Hey, I think bass with a pick is fully acceptable.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I agree.
It's punk and rock, like that's the style that you typically play with the pick anyway.
Yeah, punk rock bass. And I started learning the piano once.
Yeah.
I could try it and stuff.
that's good though. That's really good for your theory.
Few chord scales on piano, but that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
I've heard Pete sing, and that was really good. So
yeah.
Well,
Pick and sing in tune really well.
thank you, I appreciate
Yeah.
it. But,
It's all that
can't-
theory from the guitar. That's fine.
what was that, Tad?
I said it's all that theory from the guitar.
A theory helps,
Yeah.
But no, I want to get more into singing. Because I enjoy it, but I need to have some technical training.
It's all about your breathing. It's like breathing's the foundation of it for sure.
Yeah.
Breath control and whatever.
I'm a good teacher,
Yeah.
Hello, I'll be your teacher. Hello.
Yeah.
I'm a singer. Not like I'm not a fucking singer or anything.
That's not good, Tash, because you're just going to end up drinking the whole session.
No, I can be professional. We're professional right now.
yeah, but not
you-
with Pete and Vinnie.
like,
That's true.
I
The
don't.
singer from ABC apparently used to gargle whiskey before the show to get that rasp.
Hell yeah. Smoke a cigarette before you go on stage. That's my technique.
No, I'm joking. I only say it because obviously we're friends, but I know, maybe we should try it. We should, have a little...
I would love to.
You have to
sing
remember,
that.
like, doing the classical stuff, that's like the basis of breath control. And I smoked I shouldn't be saying this, but I did smoke all the way through doing it at quite a young age. And it's all to do with your muscles. So I honestly think if you've got your breathing down, your singing will come. If you're musical, you've got it. You've got it if you've got it. You don't if you don't.
And confidence.
And confidence, yeah. I'll whip you
That's
into
the big
shape.
one as well. It's it's so hard to get the confidence with singing.
The mental block is the main thing for me, 100%.
Absolutely.
It's like,
It's good. So the next question we have for you is what has been the most difficult aspect of your career as musicians and YouTubers so far?
I think the most difficult is consistency, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's basically, YouTube is it's very advanced now in the sense of, I was talking about our career in terms of YouTube, which is the main thing we do at the minute, you know. It's like YouTube has nothing to do with it was when it started, in terms of cat videos or viral, one-off virals and fun. YouTube, they support families now, you can have a big income if you grow on it, And the only way to do that and to stand out is to keep it consistent, So with that comes a lot of hard work, obviously, and you have to sometimes be motivated. It's just basically going to work every day, You have to be always thinking about it, but it's not like going to work every day because you don't have anyone telling you what to do. So sometimes you have to find motivation to wake up, have an idea, script a video, you know, like call each other all the time, you know.
We're always
Yeah.
communicating.
You have to basically have a production schedule, you know, and it's not, and you know, like with the creatives, you know, like when you're like a self-employed kind of creative, especially in the creative sector, you're not always motivated, you know, so you have to kind of be your own boss and, you know, get out of bed early and still do stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that's the only way you're going to stand out on YouTube, because there's so much competition. And if you're not delivering to your fan base like every week, then, you know, because people tune into you, they dedicate half an hour of their day or their week or whatever to go and see someone they like on YouTube. If you're not there for them, they're going to go to a different channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they like that, then they might not come back to you, you know.
Yeah.
People have a certain amount of hours they can watch stuff, you know. And if you're not delivering, well for once, the YouTube algorithm is not even going to deliver your videos to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still like, how do you treat your fan base, you know?
100%.
So consistency, I think, for us is the biggest.
Yeah.
Would you agree? Like,
I would definitely agree. I
Yeah.
think as well, basically, like with YouTube, it can take a few years to get that to that initial level where you have a solid fan base, and basically you're working for free for those.
Yeah,
2 years.
exactly.
We get together at least once a week, twice a week usually.
Well, to be honest, yeah, we did put technical difficulties out 2 years in July.
Yeah.
No
Yeah, come
way.
Wow.
That's
And
been
now-
so long.
Now,
Only now, just
the
now.
channel picked up in February.
Wow, yeah.
You know,
So-
now like we had a big spike, and like people are finally watching us. So for 2 years, we spent like 2 weeks doing this video, editing, mixing, color grading, everything, scripting, and you have like 200 views.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And it was
It's
quite
hard.
heartbreak.
It gets trying.
You know,
It's like-
and you have a ceiling of like good videos would do like 600 views.
Yeah.
Now, as soon as we put a video out, you'll have at least like 2,000-3,000 views in one day.
See, that's great.
That's really cool.
And it is
Finally,
a persistence
point.
thing for sure. It's
Yeah.
persistence, and like going back to what you said about like being self-employed and creative it's hard to have the motivation. Like I saw a quote online that said excess freedom is more difficult because you have to create your own goals, and that is so true. Like when you're
Yeah.
doing it for yourself, and fair enough, you might be doing it because you want to get your art out there. It's harder because, as you say at the beginning, there is no one. There might not be no one watching. There's
Yeah.
hardly anyone to make a difference. So persistence.
Then you
is-
have like stuff like imposter syndrome, you know, and it's
Yeah.
like, it's very easy to go to a job and just like get told what to do all day,
Yeah.
make money, come back, you know, it's fine. But like, yeah, it's a steep curve in the beginning,
Of
but then, you
course.
know, hopefully it'll pay off, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well,
It's like
you're doing great.
Keep that, you know.
Do you
Yeah,
think it
the
makes
hard
it
work.
easier having both of you together to like motivate each other?
that's true, actually, because very often we're like, you know, this doesn't look good or whatever, or like, shall we do this? Shall we put this out? You know, and then the other one goes like, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. You know.
Yeah. No, because sometimes like this it's very rare that both of us will have a day where we're super motivated. You know, there might be one day where I'm not and Vinnie is, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and he's like, no, come on, man, we can do it. And I'm like, you know what, you're
Yeah.
right.
Or like one day you're just like a bit draggy, and then people message me like at 6 p.m. with an idea, and then you just wake up, you know, you're like, okay, cool. So it picks you up, and then you start thinking about stuff again, you know.
Yeah, it's always on the go.
So it really, really helps.
does help, I think.
And then when you play together as well, like sometimes, I don't know what was happening the other day. I was editing a video and I was tired and everything, you know, and then it was a comedy video that's coming out soon.
Hey.
Plug yourself. That's what it's for,
Yeah.
baby.
And I know, but it was fun. I was editing and because we were acting funny in the video, and that made my mood. It changed my mood because I was laughing while I was watching, you know. Or like when we get together and do like guitar parts together, everything sounds better when you play with two people, you know.
Yeah.
It's
So
true.
that makes you happier as well instead of just being by yourself. So yeah, it's the whole thing, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of eradicates like the indecisiveness. Like I know for a
Yeah,
fact with us
helps
too, like
Boost the confidence as
yeah,
well.
because if one of us is like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
know, should I say this in the post, and the other one's like, yeah, fuck it, just post it.
Yeah.
Like you're overthinking it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's really cool, especially for you guys starting a new venture. Now, at some point, you get to a point in which like you can even see the bullshit doubts before they arise. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like you're gonna go. Yeah, of course we're gonna do it. Like there's not even worth dwelling on it. You know.
Yeah.
You know you're gonna do it anyway, so you
Yeah.
just put it out. You just say whatever you want, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, and we tend to think a lot more about how we look. Then people don't care too much, you know.
Yeah.
Like they don't watch it the same way you do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, you
of course.
know?
You're your own worst critic. So
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
What would you say your funniest memory from doing this together is?
Good question. I mean, we're always laughing. Always like
So
trying to think of something specific.
So many illegal things.
Yeah, maybe
sometimes we have this comedy sketch type videos that it's very hard to get through a take without laughing.
Yeah.
Especially Pete. Like Pete has this like really kind of silly sense of humor, and he'll like the other day, for instance, like we had like this video that's coming out soon that I mentioned before. Like it's called like How Not to Warm Up.
Okay.
When you're playing the guitar.
The warm up of this.
And it's like this video play. There's one sketch that like Pete says, "Oh, my hands are cold," and I bring some olive oil and I'm trying to massage his hands.
Okay.
Oh god, it took ages.
And it took us like, I don't know, 12 takes.
Next level bromance.
Funky,
In your head is screaming, like, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh.
It makes you laugh more. That makes you laugh so much more.
Yeah,
What were you gonna say? Go ahead.
I was cracking up at the video with the Cheetos.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
that's
That was good.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
That was good.
So
Yeah,
good.
I think Pete was so brave for allowing me to do that to his guitar as well.
I changed the string straight away when I got home after that.
really. Oh my god. Nah, they're funny, those videos we watched all your videos. They're great.
So there's one time as well we will watch. So when we have a shoot day, a recording day, we do some recording and then we have lunch. Yeah.
Okay.
And then sometimes we watch some some TV while we're eating. And then this one time we were watching South Park. Mm-hmm. There was this joke on the show that we were like just repeating the joke and stuff, and then we went back into recording after lunch, started rolling the camera, and like we were doing like the joke for like 16 minutes. And that was rolling, so I went to edit the thing, and there was a whole chunk of like, and I was like, what is this gonna end?
Yeah.
And Pete's just doing this joke, like impersonating. He does good impersonations of like South Park.
Oh, can we hear one?
Yeah, okay. I'll do. Do you guys know Mr. Mackey?
Yeah, of course.
Like, okay, students. Okay, we're gonna have a class assembly today. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna learn about the diversity of Asian people. Okay, so everybody pay attention here.
Okay. That's actually really impressive.
Camera's rolling, he's doing that, and we're like serious, side by side.
We're trying to be serious.
Lights are on, like back in track, whatever, and then he's doing that, and then it's like,
It's good, you have to laugh, you have to make it lighthearted, it's the best, like when you're doing it. We've had a few moments like that when we were first starting, and it's just, you crack up and you're like, oh Jesus, so
let's start again.
For 50% shooting and 50% South Park.
Yeah.
You're two big kids, that's why. You're big babies. Who would you most like to feature on your show?
Slash.
Bold. Okay.
So let's clarify. Do you mean someone that like that, or someone that realistically we could?
No, like anyone in the world.
Massive.
Well, yeah.
I think Slash is realistically able to
go on
come
your show. Absolutely.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, like literally anyone in the world.
Petrucci, but Petrucci's nowhere near Slash in terms of being a rock star.
Yeah.
But that stuff happens, Well, that guy from Music Is Win had Steve Vai. Fucking Steve Vai is chatting to him.
Is that a new video that you just put up?
Yeah.
Paul Gilbert, you never know. You guys have already met him.
Yeah.
So...
Actually,
I think we have to say Paul Gilbert because he wrote the song that we learned technically school.
Yep.
Oh, that would be so amazing.
The aura of the channel.
The main inspiration for the channel.
Yeah.
I wonder if you reached out if he would do it, if you explained that to him. You never know.
Can you tell us a bit about when you met Paul Gilbert?
Oh yeah.
We watched the video.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So basically, we had that. There was this guitar show, like in London. Actually, it was in Kingston Olympia.
No. That was it was in Islington. It was in Islington. Do you remember?
Oh, Angel. Yes. You're right.
Okay.
So like a yearly the UK London guitar show, and there's all just like a trade show, with all the brands, and everything. You can buy stuff at a discount. Go there to like struck a deal if you're a retailer, that kind of stuff. And Paul Gilbert had a masterclass So I told Pete we need to go and stuff. And I think it was our very first vlog, isn't it? No?
Yeah,
Yes?
it was. Yeah.
So we took the camera and the tripod and everything, filming everything. And then we got there. We watched the masterclass. And it was really cool because he played a lot of Mr. Big stuff. Like stuff that was like, I was a massive fan of growing up. Did a bit of shred, It's like, oh my God.
Fangirling, love it.
Just hear him.
Yeah, and then he left for the back door. And left the back door. And then that was it. I was like, oh, cool. We weren't expecting to meet him. But then we said, oh, can we just go and get some fresh air before we keep recording the vlogging throughout the day? And then we went out and he was there. He was just waiting for a cab.
No way!
So
we tried to be as...
So we approached him, switched the camera off so it's not in his face.
Yeah.
And had
Hi, Paul.
Yeah, we didn't want to be that.
Especially because, with these vlogging kits, the camera on top, the mic in front of the camera looks like a dick, So it's like, when you have it on someone's face, it's like,
Get your dick out of my face, guys.
Oh, that's amazing. So there's another...
We were chatting and his cab arrived and he called us out, come, walk with me to the cab,
Photo, yeah.
And then, because we were on the phone, and it's like, okay, cool, we'll do a photo, but come with me. So he was loading his gear onto the car, and then he took a quick photo, and then that was it, yeah.
Yeah, so that was unexpected. That's what was so cool about it.
But we were chatting for a good 10 minutes, which was pretty cool. He was like, oh, do you guys play, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
that's
like,
cool.
in actual fact, Paul, we play your songs.
Yeah. Well, I thought it didn't come
No.
We didn't say we have a YouTube channel because of you.
Well, if he's watching this, he knows now.
Yeah, Paul Gilbert.
Yeah, play.
It is hard though when you meet someone like that and you're trying so hard to play it cool and then you want to tell them so much but you're like, hold yourself back. You're like, nah, can't seem like I'm a fangirl.
Honestly, when I meet someone like that, I just can't speak anymore. I go like, hello. Yeah. Did you guys manage to play it cool? Oh.
Yeah, I think we bit shaky.
We're nervous. I think it's because they've meant so much to you for so long, especially if you've been a fan for years. You've studied their music, or it's moved you so much to see them in the flesh. It's crazy, you get completely starstruck,
I think,
but you just have to remember they're a person as well.
Yeah, I think
exactly.
I've not met an idol. A lot of my idols are dead, but I have met quite a few people who you would think oh fuck, you're a big name. And the singer from Survivor, I've got a funny story. So I was promoters repping for the Raid in the Rock Vault, which is this big Las Vegas rock show and whatever. They were playing in London and I was repping the show, so it was a 3-day thing. And at the end of the show, we got them all pizzas, the final night, and they were all sitting up having pizzas, and I was going around making sure everyone was okay, and I was I'm quite savvy when it comes to that. I think it's the Scottishness, I just don't give a fuck. So they were sitting about eating pizza and drinking, and I'm going over are you okay? Do you need anything? Are you fed and watered? That's what I kept saying, have you been fed and watered? And the singer from Survivor turned around to me and he was like, is that your way of telling us all to fuck off? And I just went up to him and I went, see, if I was going to tell you to fuck off, I'd just say fuck off, wouldn't I? And he was like, I love you, you're bad bitch, you're amazing. Because they obviously are used to people being like, no, sorry, I didn't mean to, blah, blah, blah. I was like, if I'm going to tell you to fuck off, I'd just say it. So, yeah, I think there's the two way of it. Definitely, you can go one way where you're like, oh fuck, you're actually a bit too big for me and I don't know what to say here. Or you can be pretty chill with them because again, you just remember.
Do you mean Survivor, Eye of the Tiger?
Yep.
Oh,
that's pretty cool.
Wicked.
They are just people. I definitely think that is the main thing you need to remember is regardless of how big you're doing.
Yeah, but it's more difficult.
Of course, it's hard. I get it.
I definitely don't have the Scottish.
It's hard to
Yeah, so how important do you think theory is to rock and metal music and to your content in general?
I think theory is important, for us to know to do the content that we do, or for people to know in general.
Both, really.
I think theory is.
People playing the way we play and metal and stuff.
I'm an advocate for it, definitely.
Yeah.
Because Vinnie and I both teach. I'm sure you've encountered the question from students: do I need to learn theory?
Yeah.
And I would say, yeah, of course. I would do you want to be this level, or do you want to hit a ceiling? So it's just
you know what you're doing. It's you got names for stuff.
Yeah.
It's I think the main benefit from theory that I've when you can put a name to a certain sound, then you recognize it after that, you know?
In your own head as well.
Yeah, so for example, if you know how some sort of a cadence sounds like, you know, a 5-1 resolution, you know, every time you hear it, you know, oh, that's a 5-1. You know what to call it, you know?
Yeah.
And once you know that that's what it is, you start recognizing. I think that's my biggest... also, not just that, but like everything improvising, you know, like you know. But
yeah, and I think like learning modes on the guitar is super important, because if you know what Dorian sounds like, then not only you can put that into your own phrasing and improve the sound of your playing, but you can recognize it everywhere. You know, if you're learning a song, be like, oh, that's a Dorian line there. What is that? You know, so it's like,
to be honest, like let's be real, you know, like I haven't learned theory for a long time, and to be honest, if you want to be a musician, you have to it's like knowing the language of it, you know.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be a builder, you need to know about types of cement or whatever, you know, and bricks and stuff, you know.
good analogy.
Nice.
You know,
That is a good analogy. Yes.
Music is a language at the end of the day.
I think in rock and metal there is this kind of culture, like especially in like with guitarists, because like we have like the tab system, you know, we don't have to read music and everything.
Yeah.
There's this, and then obviously because all these people became super rich, you know, being rock stars without any without much theory, we think that you can do it, and you can. You just like, I think it damages your chances though, and it like.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, a lot of the guys that are rock stars, they know theory. You just don't hear about it, you know.
Yeah. Because I think
Because of Slash talking about scales and stuff. You know?
I think like when you talk about music theory, a lot of people instantly just think classical, because it's so, you know, everyone in an orchestra will be reading the music or the score or whatever. So with metal and rock, it's nice to hear you guys say that is the there's a fundamental aspect of it, is the theory, because a lot of people don't think that. And like obviously you get people who are super ear trained and they sort of pass it off like don't really need theory, but I would agree that you do. You guys are right. To play at your standard, you do need theory.
I think with metal as well, it's naturally a bit more technically challenging, you know, than rock or hard rock or punk rock, you know. So I think, with metal especially, you know.
Yeah, and even still, even if you're just a songwriter type of guitarist, you know, you need to know your theory. You need to know what different chord progressions sound like, you know, how to do a substitute chord or like play a certain scale. You create the more technical knowledge you have, like theoretical knowledge, the more you'll be able to translate what sound is in your head to what you're playing, you know. So learn your scales, kids.
And then you can communicate with, if you want to like play with other musicians, you can tell them the chords and tell them what you're doing.
Like learn your scales, and when you're on stage, if you want to spit beer into the air, then you do whatever you want when you're on stage. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, just put your foot on the monitor and like I don't know, just
headbang and swerve that hair around.
Jump off the drum, whatever. You know?
Love it. I love it. So what skills in particular would you say that like really helped you guys with your guitar playing?
What skills?
I think guitar. Guitar. No, I think the biggest one, no matter what genre you play, it just in being in control of your picking through alternate picking. Learning alternate picking is so important.
Yeah,
right, cool.
You know, just being able to like, and it goes for whether you're playing a scale individually as notes, or like in funk playing, for example, that kind of time-keeping wrist that keeps the 16th note going.
Yeah.
You need to be able to be in control of that, you know?
And I'll be a bit more philosophical about it. I think probably the most valuable skill I've ever learned is how to study, you know? How to practice. Honestly, half an hour of focused practice a day will make you a much better guitarist than 8 hours of noodling and or like targetless practice, you know?
Yeah.
You have a regime of practice and you know what you want to do. Say, like, I want to work on this today. Like, I need to improve on this or whatever. I need to get stronger on this. Learning how to study and how to measure your progress as well. With, like, actually diarying, like, writing stuff down and stuff. Like, I think that's a skill that, honestly, not enough people know about, you know?
That's such a good point. Yeah, we had a teacher at ICNP named Martin Goulding. He was the one who taught us that measured practice, you know. Yeah. So that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Knowing how to study,
Yeah. So
do you ever see yourselves like, if you would make a video on that for your YouTubers, like, do you think that you would ever do something like that and tell them like skills?
Yeah, at some point. Maybe get Martin on the show.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Of course.
Yeah.
He'd probably be up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as
he's a very relevant figure in our learning journey. You know? So like that, it would make sense, you know.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's great that you can say that from your experience with him, that he's, you know, stuck with you from after. I know people that are like left uni 10 years ago and they still go to him, so
he's really life-changing in that respect, you know.
Yeah, do you think it's important to take guitar lessons when you're starting out, like learning guitar?
100%.
So, yeah.
Nothing beats having a mentor, you know, on anything. But like, you know, the guidance of like, you know, someone straightening your technique, opening your mind, telling you about, can you hear that, you know, in a song? That's, of course, 100%, you know.
I think the biggest thing with the teacher is they're giving not just their ability, but their experience, you know, through like, you can't beat, you know, 20 years, 30 years of experience playing the instrument, whether it's in a live context or just having a relationship with playing it. You know, they're helping you with that guidance. You know?
I wouldn't recommend anyone just falling into that trap of like, I'm going to learn on YouTube, you know?
Yeah.
Unless it's like a really well-structured program. And even then, like, okay, online it can be done, you know, we're getting more and more used to it. But if you can go and see a teacher, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same with like, I guess like, that's why how so many other teachers are struggling now, because like, I'm sure you guys are the same, you're still giving lessons, and if you're going over Zoom or whatever you're teaching on, it's hard, like, especially with young children, because if you can't be there, like, I was teaching piano, but you guys were obviously guitar, if you can't be there to see their positioning of, like, their fingers, or you can't physically move them to show them where their hands should be, it's hard. I mean, you're telling them over a screen, and then there's the lagging and delays, and you're like, okay, play in time with me.
I really hope we don't just make this, like, the norm, you know, because...
Well, for music in particular, like you were saying, Tasha, I completely agree.
It's hands-on, you know?
Yeah, and you can't play with someone in time over Zoom because there's a little bit of latency.
Yeah,
you know?
Of course. Like, you're clicking to them and they're like this.
Yeah,
this is never good. Yeah, you're like polyrhythms. You're like, no, that's not what we mean.
I don't know whether you're playing incorrectly or whether it's just the Zoom, you know?
Yeah, I know. Because I remember... I was teaching a kid and she's obviously at the piano, and you're trying to get her to position the iPad so I can see the positioning of her back with her feet and the wrists, because obviously she has to then be able to touch the keys, and she's only 7. So I'm like trying to tell her like, oh no, you need to angle yourself, but they don't get it. Like, their motor skills aren't the same. So it's so hard. Now I really, really hope that it doesn't become the norm either, because this is just no way for creatives to live. It's no way for us to live. It's so hard. And I'm sure there's loads of people out there that feel the same, like, it's hard to do this, and it's okay to not be okay with music. So we're all in the same boat. Been on the dole for nearly a year. Oh yeah.
Well spoken, Sash.
Okay, so we're moving on. Do you want to ask the next question?
Yeah, can you tell us a bit about your experience with teaching guitar?
We're just like,
not the important bit.
No, so I think just kind of a general summary of like what our experiences have been.
Yeah, because you're both guitar teachers, right? So
so before I moved to London, my full-time job was teaching lessons at a guitar studio. Like it was like a music studio with lessons, guitar lessons. And I think the main thing, like, first of all, teaching is amazing. If you're a musician, I think everyone should teach at least like a bit, or have a bit of experience with that, because it puts in check your own knowledge base, you know? Like if you're even something simple, you're going, okay, here's a C major scale in this position. Oh wait, I have to review that position, you know? It reveals little gaps in your own knowledge.
That's a good way to put it.
You learn so much from your students as well. So first thing is, I think it's important for musicians to do that. And then, but then just another point that I wanted to bring up about teaching is one of the challenges is if you have 6 students in a day, every one of them is different. One could be a kid, one could be an adult. Everyone has different personalities, and because of that, they have different learning styles. You know, so you have to shift your headspace. You know, and you have to cater your delivery to each individual person. You know, so that's a challenge. But again, it's good for you. You know, it challenges you and it pushes you.
Do you feel like it humbles you a wee bit?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. And you have to remember as well, if you're teaching like 6 people in a day, they could be the 6th person you're teaching, but it's their first lesson, it's their only lesson for the week.
Yeah.
You know? So you have to, you know, just obviously just do your best, you know, and like give them that, you know.
Patience and all that, have patience.
Time, you know.
Yeah, you have to inspire, you know, it's kind of your duty as a teacher to be like, okay, if I've had a long day, that doesn't matter. I need to give them a good lesson, like you were saying.
Yeah, that's nice. That's so nice to hear that. That's really nice to that you guys have that mentality of it. It's good. Very nice. Whereabouts are we now? So we watched all your videos yesterday, literally like all of them, and I think I might be converting to a metalhead now. Don't know though. Don't hold me to that. You'll see in 2 weeks. I'll probably be listening to fucking
Yeah,
Cyber.
I heard her shredding, like...
Yeah, I was
in her bedroom. She was like...
I was.
Yeah, she went to Johnny Cash, but then like do a shred guitar solo.
Yeah, see, that's my kind of thing. The boys know. They know. Anyway, we watched your Strat versus Telly video. Do you each have a personal favourite yet? I seen you got a new Les Paul as well, so add that in the mix.
Yeah. Oh my god, I haven't put that thing down, but yeah. I haven't. This is the only thing I put it down.
Your face when you were unpacking it was...
Yeah, I think
great.
between Strat and Telly, I'm Telly and yours Strat, right?
Yeah, I think they're both great guitars for different reasons. You know, Telly, you get that really raw twang kind of like tone. It's a lot brighter. Strat, I think, is a bit more diverse. You know, it can do pretty much every genre if you wanted to. But yeah,
less punchy though.
less punchy. Yeah. The Telly's a bit darker. You know,
Less on the punchy side.
but Strat's a super comfortable guitar. I went in and it was like, oh, that's a joke. Let me laugh. But yeah, I think I would say that probably your Telly and I would Strat.
Yeah,
the guitars are
between those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's always like that lifelong battle between the two. So we weren't going to say like, have you picked the one that won, but you both have a personal favourite, which is really
one
nice.
that won.
I think it was more. We wanted to give it that kind of like versus vibe for the video. But
Yeah,
I think
that's
we
a good.
wanted to compare the tones, you know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
liked seeing it with all the genres as well. That was
Cool.
interesting.
Thanks.
Yeah, because you get exactly. I think one guitar can't do everything, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a Strat's probably more versatile. If you need one guitar, maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of like the choice of a lot of session musicians because of that, you know.
It's nice that you're not super biased.
Oh yeah.
It's nice you're not super biased about it, because obviously you get the diehards online that are like, Telly till I die, Strat till I die, fuck the other ones, are all shit. And I'm like, nah, it's not the guitar, it's the guitarist. It's how good you are.
Yeah, and the genre that you want to play, and
Absolutely.
like everything, I guess.
Yeah, it's okay to have a preference, but it's good to know that a Telly does something better than a Strat does, you know.
What are you doing? You're on camera.
I've been out all day with this, wearing the same T-shirt. So I even did a bit of yoga on this T-shirt.
You're a typical rock star. It's fine,
You know,
whatever.
picking up yoga, man. What the fuck?
Oh my god. So are the tattoos and piercings and gorgeous hair all part of being said rock star?
Yeah.
I think we'd be lying if we said no.
Yeah. You need the look. You know, you need the look.
I think you both have got a very distinct look. I remember when I first met Pete, you had long curly hair, and I have curly hair too, so we were bonded on that, but you didn't have like you only had the one tattoo, you had no piercings. And then it was like all of a sudden some flower had bloomed, and I seen him and he was inked, he had his septum, his nose ring, his ears, it was all go. Yeah. And then I seen you next to Vinnie and I was like, wow, brothers forever now.
Yeah, aesthetic is important, but yeah, I think in second year I kind of had this blossoming for some reason, and I just started piercing all bits of my body. And
your nipple as well, yeah. Forgot about your nipple piercing too.
Did the hair help you bond from the start? Did you see Vinny's hair and you were like, bros?
It's not wrong-haired rock guitars.
To be honest, man, you need to. If you're gonna be a guitarist, man, at least you could do is grow your hair. You know? Come on.
So what are you gonna do with your head otherwise when you're on stage?
You know? You're gonna fucking wear baggy jeans. Yeah. That's mental.
Yeah.
Honestly, Vinny,
you hair, you know?
Yeah, you've got the best hair I think I've ever seen on a guy. Honestly, just every time Vinny came into uni, it was as if those L'Oreal adverts with the wind blowing and the perfect blowout. That was Vinny every day, every single fucking day. You were made up, and me and Pete used to talk about it. We were like, fuck this guy. We're all hungover. You look great. Fuck you.
Oh, thank you, guys. That's nice.
You're gorgeous.
So I think everyone should have long hair, boys and girls.
Yeah, trust. That's why we've got the curls. I always give we give each other tips on curly hair, don't we, to Pete? We always talk about it. I'm like, don't.
Well, you give me tips on curly hair, but yeah.
Yeah, he's learning. He's learning fast though, so.
Well, but yours is not. You're straightening it a bit, Tash.
No, it's curly as anything, man. It's just tied back because it's a mane.
The videos,
yeah.
The video's not super defined.
The noodles are out. I promise. They're out. We're good.
So with TikTok being the newest platform and you guys having over 25,000 followers and having over 600,000 views on some of your videos, do you think platforms like TikTok are essential for starting a channel like Pete and Vinnie Play?
Not essential.
Not essential, no.
Not essential, no. It's such a different form of media, isn't it? It's very specific as well, and we have found that it doesn't really translate into the other stuff.
Yeah.
Like those, like it's like 20,000 is really good. Obviously, have 500,000 views on a couple of videos or whatever. But for some reason, it's not like the people that go and subscribe to your YouTube or Instagram. It's interesting. TikTok is like its own thing.
Yeah. And am I right in saying I remember you guys in university when you were starting out the YouTube channel, and was it you were definitely going to be on TikTok, or am I remembering correctly that you were both like, not going on TikTok, no way are we going on that?
We were adamantly opposed to it.
That's more likely.
I think I remember Pete or Vinnie, in our dissertation class, you were like, fuck TikTok, I'm not going to be on a channel with little girls dancing to shit music. No, it's not happening. And here we are a couple months later.
I still say fuck TikTok. I still don't like it. It's like,
it must be complicated because it's like, 1 minute videos, right? Or is it less than that?
Yeah, it's
1 minute.
It's a completely different format, and it's like it's so immediate, It's not like, it's just anything can be a TikTok video, like it could be anything, and it doesn't excite us as much. But we did create some content that we were proud of.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's cool, and it's like, yeah, maybe it's something we need to like. It's tricky. I think it's too early to say how we feel about it because it's very cool to watch the spread and the numbers and everything. And to be honest, I think TikTok, if you were to be recognized on the streets or whatever, TikTok would have been the reason that happens before YouTube or Instagram.
Yeah.
So you need to value that.
That's true.
You need to value that kind of stuff, that kind of exposure.
Of course.
But yeah, like just out of interest, it doesn't always. And I've spoken to other people, big TikTokers. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be big on all social media if you're a big TikToker,
Yeah, it's quite a difficult culture to be involved in because, like, TikTok it's becoming so progressive. Like, there's so many people on it, and there's the ability to get millions and millions of views. But then, as you say, it could not be it might not be translated the way, and there's probably not like you're playing a lot of like rock music that. It is kind of, I don't want to say it's niche, but it is like a niche market that you're kind of aiming to.
So, if you're going to be on it, you need to study the platform. It's a business, Most people think that it's going to be on TikTok. No, if you're gonna do like a career thing, you need to understand how the algorithm works and everything, And we have a lot going on already in terms of that, So, I think if you're going to do it, then like really go and study, understand the platform,
Absolutely.
And if you're not, if you're like an older person, if you're not a teenager doing TikTok, I think that's the only way you have to study it,
Yeah, it's a business. That's a good way to put it. No, I know TikTok's quite hard, and like obviously you see these people and like name and shame time. The guy that did the mad sea shanty that's now just signed a record deal, and it's like he was a postman, no musical training, sung a song, went viral. Now he's signed to a record label, and it's like you have people. It's crazy, and I think.
About that.
Well, I think I don't know about this specific guy, but I can totally imagine that would be the case, because when you have that audience, and you're gonna have those, but like I think that's an exception,
Yeah.
You should we should never look at the exception when we're trying to envision where we want to be, you want to be signed, you can't count on that shit,
Yeah, of course.
And I think a lot of people who aren't really in the music industry, they say, when are you signing to a record label? And you're like, that's not the end goal here. Yeah. That is not the end goal. It's not the end goal to be in the charts even. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, who aren't part of our world. They don't understand that getting signed to a record label or being top of the UK charts or the world charts or whatever, that really isn't an end goal. And I know for me it's not. I would rather be happy and poor than rich and unhappy at the top of the charts. You know what I mean? And I think that it's a good...
If you sign, it doesn't even mean that you're going to get there. Even
exactly.
in today's day.
Yeah, because it's like in today's especially, it's like, chances are like, because the money's so hard to come by, without the record sales and everything, that you being dropped is a big chance,
Yeah.
So sometimes you can think like, you might as well just do your thing, if you can self-manage, and create like a steady income through whatever it is, like merch or whatever, like there's some sort of subscription or like Patreon even. A lot of people doing really well doing
even
that.
Even YouTube pays a bit better than a lot of other platforms, like for views and stuff like that.
In terms of like structuring like finances and like a career and stuff, YouTube is the one with the most with the most like how'd you say?
It's like fair payment.
There's a path, like it makes more sense.
It has a system in place for that.
Yeah, exactly.
To facilitate that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept, and I think like I hope a lot of people that end up listening to this podcast and listening to you guys, like people that aren't familiar with the music industry, get a taste of like what it's like to kind of be at the other end of it, where for a lot of us that isn't the main goal. The main goal is to be able to live comfortably, enjoy your life and do music, like instead of having to do the typical 9-to-5 office job and keep music a hobby. And I hope that with the new generations coming and how progressive people are now, they begin to realise that is it. Music isn't a hobby. Arts don't have to be hobbies. They can be if you choose, but don't feel like you need to have a plan A and a plan B and have all these plans in your life in case one fails because one of them's an art. I just think it's ridiculous. But
exactly, like I've given up on the idea of being a rock star when I was like 14 probably. And like you have to understand that what you need to do is make a living out of music.
Exactly. Music is a career. It's not just
a hobby or whatever. I hate
and it's
that.
not just either it's a hobby or you're a rock star. There's so many things in between that you can do.
Especially in today's industry, like where we're fortunate to have platforms like YouTube and that you can kind of be an entrepreneur, and you can kind of carve your own way through a way that you weren't able to do that, 10 even 15 years ago, So
I think YouTube as a career really we started people seeing like I'm a YouTube 2011 probably.
Very recent.
And I think that's good. Like, I mean, obviously the way technology's going, it's so progressive again. Like you can actually make a living. These vloggers, bloggers, whatever that are online, they are able to make a living off of it. And I think that the only downside to that is that a lot of these platforms become oversaturated. TikTok's oversaturated. YouTube even is oversaturated. And I think that it's sad that it goes that way, but we're all going into technology. Everything's all techie now. So I think you kind of go.
It's like it's a lot of people doing it, but a lot of people watching as well. It's not like you got
all the people doing it, no one watching.
And at the same time, it gives everyone a chance as well.
Well, like the more you read into it, and you kind of study the platform, because you can actually get books on it, like on how YouTube works, how to create a channel, how to like stand out and stuff like that. It's like, there's a lot of people doing it, and it is harder and harder to stand out. But there are more people watching it, like whole countries now coming into it, the internet, and like everyone has a smartphone now, like, even like outside of the Western world,
everyone's got it.
Major thing once, like, I don't know, some technology happens in South America, and then all of a sudden there's a cheap smartphone that like people that are more poor, if they can buy that, then all of a sudden you have like an extra 2 billion people online.
Of course. But that kind of leads into our next question. So do you do a lot of audience interactions on your channels and on your Instagram as well? You do like polls and different questions. How beneficial has this been for your channel? Would you say that it's like a necessity to have that audience interaction, having a platform online?
I think so.
Engagement is central.
Because I think as well a good point to talk about with that is obviously engagement, you can get new people on board, but also you need to care for your current fan base. You need to show people that you care about what they have to say.
You never know. Like the audience likes feeling personal as well with what they're watching. And I guess by asking questions and making polls, like they feel like they can interact with you.
You can't expect to have a fan base and not talk to them.
Exactly.
You have to talk to them. You have to, because they're doing you a favor by being committed to your content and following you. So you need to give that back. Do
you ever get any like funny messages, like weird DMs and stuff?
We do.
We get some so random. How
Tell us, hello.
What?
Tell us what's your weirdest one?
I don't know. I had to restrict this girl that she was commenting, but it wasn't like a bot or anything. It was an actual girl that kind of she took a bigger liking to us, and then like on every post she'd be like, "Oh, you're so sexy" or whatever.
Really?
You get these like the messages that are from bots. It's like, oh, nude pictures in my thing. Just follow this or whatever.
But not even that. Sometimes you get like, but it was too much. You know, it's not like just polite flattering. It was like,
too much. Yeah, for our audience viewers that are watching, these both men are taken, so fuck off with your
no creepy
no creepy
messages.
messages. Anyway, it's a weird one. Instagram, you do get a lot of fucking freaks.
So you have a big Brazilian audience. How do they react differently to the European and American audience?
Yeah, Brazilians are really loyal.
That's what you were saying. Yeah,
they really appreciate the fact that there's someone outside of Brazil working for them. Like not for them, but like upping Brazil. Because like we do like obviously reactions of Brazilian guitarists and stuff like that. We have this little series. And they really interact. They engage so much,
Yeah.
I think like, and I really don't know why. I think it's just the nature of the people, because I don't think it's because like in Europe people have seen it all. I don't think that's what it is. In Brazil people have seen it all as well. It's the same access everyone has, but they just have this.
The culture.
Yeah, it's just like they invest a lot more time on you as a follower, as a fan,
Yeah, we found that kind of the UK and the US crowd have been a lot more difficult to crack, in terms of getting people to engage,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well I guess it is the whole loyalty thing, and it probably is, they're getting to see someone from their country who's no longer in their country appreciating their country musically, so...
Yeah, I've been to Edinburgh before, and I had a vibe that was similar, like was a gig on there, and everyone was like, okay guys, someone was going around the pub going like, oh, there's a gig starting out, do you guys want to come up? Come on, let's go up. I never seen that in London,
Yeah, top tip, I'm not from Edinburgh, no one ever think that.
I know,
I'm Glasgow girl, always and forever die hard.
But I like what you're saying about Edinburgh, like in a pub they'd be like, yeah, there's a gig upstairs, everyone go watch, and people were actually going to see it.
And people just went upstairs, they were like, okay, fine, but like, there was a sense of just loyalty, community, I think London is quite cold, because there's so much going on, and like you have to be, because like if you're not cold in London, you're gonna get evicted, you need to like keep your head down working.
For sure.
You're saying when you went to Paris with Pinch, like they treated you like kings and queens.
Yeah,
I was like,
definitely.
I've had that
So
in Germany
different to London, but even like in London, you go to a pub and there's a gig downstairs, and nowhere does it say that there's a gig downstairs, It's crazy, like there's not even a sign, which is
exactly.
Yeah.
You go to the road trip in the workshop, and the stairwell to the stage is like this tiny little thing, like way in the back of the bar.
So many places like that. I'm sure you both know, like from when you have played live, like it's just everyone. It's like it makes a difference when the people that you're playing for make it known that you're being appreciated for what you're doing, and we spoke about that.
It's it changes everything.
Absolutely, like even having like a decent sized stage and like a nice, even like a back room to go into, instead of like fucking your guitar case off to the side of the room and having to keep your eyes on it while you're playing a gig so nobody nicks your stuff. It's like what? It's bizarre.
I played Dingballs in Camden once, and there was like two engineers, like the normal guy and the monitor guy,
Nice.
and a lighting guy as well.
Yeah.
So there was one behind the stage doing the monitoring, a guy on the front desk, and then this guy comes like, what kind of lights do you guys want?
Dingwalls is good.
Blue?
Do what you feel.
Surprise me.
Yeah, literally.
You get to select your color.
Cool.
That's very
That's
cool.
class.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dingwalls is good. I know he's the same guy that runs Subterranea, and he runs places in Kilburns. The Power Brothers are two Irish guys. They're really great guys to know. So if you're watching this, thank you for all the fun times we've all had in your places.
Do you guys feel confident in front of the camera, or do you still get nervous?
Wow. I think the speaking in the beginning, it was especially for me, like,
Really?
Yeah, because you're self-conscious, like the accent and everything, But we would take like an hour to do like
just for like a few lines.
2 minute.
Really?
speech, you know,
It's like guitar is like what we do, so we were more comfortable with that. But when we started speaking, it was tough, you know. But now we've gotten so much better.
We really postponed as much as we could, you know. At one point, we're like, we have to start introducing the videos, man. We have to tell people at some point, you know.
I know.
And then, hey, everyone, welcome. You know, this is what we're going to do today. Boom.
But now we're pretty quick at it, you know. We do get better at these things.
Yeah, you did it well at the start of this video.
Yeah, you did great.
That's good to know.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
I think it's also, you two are like, it's when you're with someone you're comfortable with. Like, it was the same when we were recording the pilot. We did like 3 takes, and the first 2 we were like fucking robots, man. We were like, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
and then the third one we were like, we're with our friend, like we're with
we
each
were like,
other.
Relax. Focus, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
I think I always like breathe, slow down, you know, and it's not going to be as bad as you think, you know.
Yeah.
Stuff that is pretty bad, you can still use it, you know, normally. It's like,
all the editing software now.
Yeah.
Do you have anything exciting coming up, or anything you want to talk to us about that you want to let the viewers know about?
You can plug.
I think for us, really, we're still working on growing the fan base, you know, for the immediate future, you know. Yeah. But we do have plans of eventually doing some original music.
Yeah,
that's something we definitely want to do at some point, you know. And then who knows, like when lockdown's over, you know.
Yeah, we'd love to collaborate with like similar guitar channels, you know, like that would be a thing post-pandemic because being in London's a huge privilege, you know, like
guitar clinics, all that stuff, you know, like it really
that would be the next steps, you know, and original music on the cards for 2021, you know.
Amazing.
That would be really cool.
That would be sick.
Yeah, but right now we're still trying to just keep keep the grind going and keep growing the fan base.
Yeah, because once you have those people willing to listen to you, then everything changes, you know.
Yeah.
I think you guys are nailing it. You know, you're hitting the nail on the head here. You've got, you know what you're wanting to do. You know what path you're wanting to follow. You're on the straight and narrow to doing it. Like you've got it down to a knack where you're just like, these are our audience, this is how we're going to do it, we've got plans for the future. And I think that's great because, again, as we said, you know, having excess freedom creates a difficulty for you to make goals. So the fact that you guys are just kind of boshing it out, I mean, that's 2 years, and how much is your fan base already grown, and it's going to come naturally. So
yeah, it's really impressive and it's really cool.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. I think you really have to think about it as a business, you know, like if you were signed, what would the label be doing for you? You know, you need to do all that stuff, you know. And I think YouTube is really, really I'm not going to say the way, because there's different ways of doing it, but it's definitely one of the main ways of, you know, getting your message out there, you know, and you know, so
No, it's nice to hear that. It's nice, and even like, you know, never know, a couple years down the line you might be back to back with us having another interview, and you two have fucking blown YouTube up out the water, and we're sitting here, so you never know.
Hopefully you'll be in the same room.
Yes, with multiple cigarettes and maybe some vodka.
Or
an Irish coffee.
Or an Irish coffee. So that's us for questions this evening, guys. If there's anything else you want to say, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you online?
Yeah.
Pete Vinnie Play on YouTube.
Pete Vinnie Play
on Instagram.
and on
it's the same handle pretty much.
Pete Vinnie Play.
Yeah.
Nice.
Look, guys, I just want to say I wish you all the best with the podcast as well.
Thank you.
You know, you guys are obviously just super nice and lovely to talk to. Very talented people as well. Obviously.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Thanks for coming on. Honestly.
Raking those views.
soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully next time you'll be here and you can be in the living room with us with your own little mugs and whatever you want in it.
In our penthouse living room, though.
Yeah, this is a penthouse in North London.
Can you imagine?
I know, I can't wait until summer can't come quick enough until we can all just get splashed. It'll be great.
Good enough.
Yeah, we have a crazy one. When the sun's up.
Yes, we will, Vinnie. So, thanks so much for watching, guys. You're listening to Back Catalogues. Once again, you can find us on pretty much everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And yeah,
and feel free to email us at b2bcatalogues@gmail.com with any queries, or if you'd like to feature on the show, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Thanks very much. Bye.